Now, a lot of people are curious, what is the difference between the EcoFlow Delta 3 and the newer Delta 3 Plus? Hey guys, I have here a new EcoFlow Delta 3 Plus. Now, EcoFlow have actually sent me two of these batteries. One of them is to give away to one of you guys. To participate, guys, just leave a comment sharing how you'd actually use the product if you win, and you've got to include the hashtag EcoFlow Australia. After selecting the winner, guys, I'll contact you via contact@theelectricviking.com to arrange shipping the battery to your address. This giveaway, guys, just to make it clear, it's not sponsored, endorsed, or administered by YouTube. So beware of impersonators. I will only contact the winner through an official reply under this video. What is the difference between this model and the old model? Now, this is the new version of the EcoFlow Delta 3. The Plus has some changes. One big change, I'll show you what that is. First of all, let's pull this thing out of the box. If you're watching the channel regularly, guys, lately you've probably noticed that I've reviewed a bunch of different batteries. I think 5 or 6 different batteries over the last 12 months. So I think these are awesome. The prices are so good now. And they're perfect for camping, perfect for going and having setting up music on the beach, for example. Having a bit of a party, heaps of different purposes. You can also do things like power your laptop. So when the power has gone out here at my house here, before I had batteries installed for the house, I would power my laptop on one of these. Now, what this can do is you can actually connect this to the power, and what will happen is when the power shuts off, it will actually instantly switch over to your laptop. So if you connect it to your laptop and to the power, both devices, it can work as an emergency backup that kicks in immediately. So if you've got a computer or something that is not a laptop, for example, we've got just a desktop computer and you need it to be able to kick over, this can work as a continuous power device, which is different to the last model. The last model didn't have that feature. Forgive me for the shorts, guys. I've been out surfing today with my boys and just got in the sauna, just got out, and I'm super hot. So I've got to cool down a bit. All right, that's the box. There is nothing inside except for this box. So basically your instructions, chuck those over there. Then we have the power lead. Just plug this into the machine and then you can power it up straight away. Personally, I recommend definitely getting one of these if you have solar. And of course, it's free to charge this thing all the time. So you can power this thing thousands of times. And what you can also do is you can actually connect it to your dryer or your fridge or something that uses a lot of power. Generally, what uses a lot of power would be your dryer at home. And then during the evenings, if you want to turn your dryer on, rather than going, oh, I can't dry my clothes because I'm going to be using expensive power after 5 p.m. No sun anymore to charge my solar panels. You can use, obviously, because you've charged it during the day, then you plug it into your dryer and you just dry your clothes using free energy from your solar panels. So that's a really good way to get your payback. So let's say one of these costs you, say, $1,000 or a bit more than that. That's Australian dollars, so probably about $700 US, $600 US. You could make that money back, I think, in 12 months just by doing that, just by connecting it to your dryer in the evenings or any other devices you could use on your sauna. I can use one of these on your sauna. They last for about 35 minutes on an infrared sauna. So that's what I found. It lasts for about 35 minutes, which is about the length of a normal sauna session that you do. Another cable there. Let's see what that is. And this one. You have 4 3-pin points on there. And you also have an LCD screen. That's how much charge it has straight from the factory. Only 23%, not a lot. This tells you what power you're putting out, how many watts you're putting out. This tells you the input power, how much power you're setting into it. You can charge this with solar, by the way. That's another big difference between this model and the old model. You can put a lot more solar power into this model versus what you could on the old model. So big upgrade there. Now on the back here, of course, you have your in you go. So you got that port. You've also got some additional ports here. That's of course your power. And you've got a couple of 11 to 60 volt ports here. Maximum outage is 15 amps with those. Now, put that back up, close that. And here's your power button, by the way. You got to turn that on. Now, I should also point out one other thing. You do have USB-C and traditional old school USB ports there. So 2 USB-C ports. And the battery size is about 1 kilowatt hour. So that's how big the Delta 3 is now. Now, a lot of people are curious, what is the difference between the EcoFlow Delta 3 and the newer Delta 3 Plus? Guys, there are some differences. Not a whole lot. The battery actually is quite similar, but the main differences are on the new Delta 3 Plus, you get 1000 watt times 2 power outputs on the D3, right? On that third power point, basically on the machine. So you're going to get more power coming out of the machine at once. You get one USB-C output, which wasn't on the original model. You get 140 watts times 2 on the D3 Plus port. You get a USB-A output. You get 18 watts times 2 on the D3 port and 36 watts times 2 on the D3 Plus. So basically you can put more power out of the 4 different ports. Solar input, 500 watts times 1 input on the D3, 500 watts times 2 inputs on D3 Plus, and it looks better. The machine just looks nicer. That's the main thing, guys. You basically can put more power out of the machine, you can send more power out of the machine, and you can bring more power into the machine using solar. So you can actually charge it using more solar at one point in time. And that's good for people who buy the portable solar panels. You can get it as a pack. In fact, the first one of these that I bought, it came with portable solar panels. I bought it as a kit, and it means that if I go camping or basically if I'm off grid, even at home, if something happens to my home system here, my solar panels, whatever, the power here, I can actually still charge my batteries up using my portable solar panels, which is kind of cool. Ultimately, all this means is that the Eco 3 Plus, it builds on the success of the Delta 2. It features the latest LiFePO4, basically the latest lithium iron phosphate technology, meaning you're actually going to get more charges out of this battery too. Safety and performance apparently is being improved, I've heard, and also it's designed for users seeking a more versatile power solution than the previous model. As I mentioned, it's got more outputs, more power outputs, etc. Ultimately, is it worth buying the new model versus the old model? In my opinion, definitely. I think this new model is good enough to be worth not getting the old one and actually upgrading to the new model. Guys, having spent considerable time testing some of what I think are the best power stations, the Delta 3 Plus I think is ideal for most people. And although it's not large enough to comfortably power an entire house, obviously, nowhere near, it's perfect for backup power. Like if your power goes out at home and you need to run your fridge and your freezer, you don't want to lose all your food, you can do that. I mean, you can't do it forever, of course. You can probably do it for long enough until the power usually would come back on. Now, there's some other use cases, of course, other than camping and powering a fridge at home, including providing power around a warehouse or on a job site. You can enhance your work truck or your ute's capabilities by adding outlets and power, working as your primary power solution for living or working out of a vehicle, and converting solar energy into usable power. Anyway, I'm sure there's other things you've thought of as well. The EcoFlow Delta 3 Plus, it comes in, as you can see, a pretty simple box, got the essential cables that you need, and honestly, thanks to the handles, I mean, having one handle on each side of the unit, it is actually quite easy to lift. I found some of the bigger power stations that can be too heavy. This thing's not too heavy. I think even if you're not someone who works out or exercises all that much, I think you wouldn't have any real problems lifting it. Some of the big batteries though, the bigger portable batteries, they can be quite difficult. The Delta 3 Plus has a pretty sturdy casing and it's rated IP65. If you get this thing wet, you could probably take it in the shower with you if you wanted to. Not that I'd recommend it, but you could. So you can, IP65 means it's actually really, it's going to be really good even if you leave it out in the rain accidentally. Not going to be a problem. There are integrated cooling systems, apparently, right, that ensure optimal performance even when it's hot or you put a lot of strain on the power station. Additionally, the LCD display, it helps provide clear metrics. You can see stuff going on that digital screen I showed you guys before, and those are crucial for the performance of the unit. They show you things like, as you can see, battery level, output levels, time left under current load as well. So that's probably a really cool feature. If you're using this to do something, for example, with me using the sauna or using the dryer, it'll actually tell you based on the amount of power you're putting into you're taking out of the machine, how long it's going to continue for at that current power rate. So that's kind of nice to see, to really know how long it's going to last for. In addition, you can get an app, guys. There's an app that I use and you can connect it via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and you can actually control the battery using the app. You can turn it off or on. So for example, if you use this as a constant power station source and you're not at home, you could switch it over. Basically, if the power went out at your house, you could switch over whatever that's connected to and turn the machine on. So if your machine is connected to a computer or to a fridge, you could actually turn it on remotely. And in terms of being able to switch on remotely, there's a really short amount of time. It takes 10 milliseconds to switch power from the mains, right, to this unit. So that's a pretty cool feature. Now, I've read a bunch of reviews online. There's hundreds and hundreds of reviews of this product already, and people have been using it for this feature, for this purpose, and it does actually work. Guys, I've got the previous Delta 3, and I think one of the benefits of this is the ability to use this as a power station for your home office. Thanks to that 10 millisecond switch time, you can be more confident you can trust this to actually run your Wi-Fi router. That's probably a big feature if your power goes out at home. That might be something you need even more than potentially your fridge, and also your modem. So yeah, for those purposes, I think it's actually a really good idea. So my total summary basically of the battery here, guys, is, I'm going to test it some more and show you guys how it worked, but based on previous testing that I've done, it lasts for around 35 minutes powering a 1,400 watt sauna, which is, I think, pretty good. And ultimately, I think this battery does strike a really good balance between power, portability, and advanced features. Do you need a bigger battery than this? Maybe, maybe not. For most people, I think this would probably be the perfect size battery. I'm actually going to get my dad has started using one of these, so has my sister, and they're using it for the purpose I mentioned before. A lot of the solar is being wasted during the day, and you're kind of seeing it go out to the grid and you're getting nothing for it. So charging it during the day and then discharging one of these batteries every night, I think is a good way to save a little bit of money. I mean, if you only save $5 a day, it still ends up being $35 a week. And then over the course of a month, ends up being maybe about $145 over the course of a month, $150. That's still not bad. Over the course of a year, you end up maybe saving around $1,500 approximately. And that means you've paid the battery back quite easily. So if you guys, if you require portable energy, I think this new Delta 3 Plus is a really good improvement over the previous model. Now, the question is, would you buy this or a different battery? There's other options. For example, Anker Solix, their battery, the similar size to this. I've tested that as well. Guys, I will do a comparison test between these two batteries to see which one actually lasts longer in the real world. Give you my thoughts on that soon. So stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so. Bye-bye.